American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you.
In the early hours of November 9th, 2016, Donald Trump shocked the nation and the entire world when he was declared the winner of the 2016 presidential election. Now, Trump is set to become the 45th president of the United States, and it's important to understand what this means for our nation going forward. With over half of all voting Americans not voting for Trump, many people feel scared and uneasy with the thought of Trump actually sitting in the White House. By looking at the traditional roles of the president, understanding the importance of state and local legislative bodies, and examining some of Trump's campaign trail promises, we can all become better prepared for what's to come in the next 4 years. Contrary to popular belief, the president is not an all-powerful being in our government, but rather he has 7 main roles. Chief of State. The president is a living symbol of the nation. Chief Executive. The president decides how laws of the United States are to be enforced and chooses officials and advisors to help run the executive branch. Chief Diplomat. The president decides what American diplomats and ambassadors shall say to foreign governments. Commander-in-Chief. The president decides where troops shall be stationed and how weapons shall be used. Legislative Leader. The president has the power to influence Congress in its lawmaking. Presidents may urge Congress to pass new laws or veto bills they do not favor. Chief of Party. The president helps members of his or her own political party get elected or appointed to office. The president campaigns for those members who have supported his or her own policies. Guardian of the Economy. The president is concerned with such things as unemployment, high prices, taxes, business profits, and general prosperity of the nation. Now that we've seen and discussed how limited the president is in respect to his own power, let's discuss the importance of local and state legislatures. Many people don't realize that their local and state legislatures have a much larger influence on their day-to-day lives than anyone sitting in Washington. This is because our nation divides the responsibilities of governments into local, state, and federal levels. Many of the most important and relevant decisions in your life are made in your own county. Your property taxes, school budgets, waste management, and road conditions are all county-level decisions. People tend to become numb to the fact that their greatest voice in government comes in the form of local officials, who many blindly choose when filling out the ballot form. The president is just one person, and as such, he or she cannot guarantee all the changes that they promise to deliver. A PolitiFact study of over 500 campaign promises made by President Obama, a man who many believe to be one of the most progressive presidents in our nation's history, found that the president has made good on only 45% of his promises made in the 2008 and 2012 campaigns. To make matters worse, President Obama outright broke 23% of his promises made. The coalition of state and local legislators is thousands of Americans strong. As Kimberly Fletcher in an article features in the Blaze magazine writes, if the governments and state legislatures of our nation rose up and said enough, we would start to see some real change. The problem is most of our governors and state legislatures have neither the knowledge of the Constitution to wield it, nor the courage to stand up and do it. So knowing what we do now regarding the powers entitled to our presidents, as well as those entitled to local and state officials, what's next? What can we expect to see from Donald Trump's presidency? Many people are apprehensive of Trump's presidency because of some of the things he has said during his campaign. Leah McElrath of Salon magazine writes, Trump's displayed a pattern of misogynistic and overly racist behavior. One cannot look at how Trump has treated women and not feel deep qualms about how his decision-making as the most powerful leader in the world would impact women and girls and minorities alike. Trump often lacks a filter when he speaks. It was arguably his willingness to be politically incorrect that won him this election. Trump doesn't water things down, and this can prove both useful and harmful when it comes to things like foreign policy and trade negotiations. But I do think Trump will eventually calm his tone once he's under the wings of the Republican establishment figures in Washington. Donald Trump ran his campaign based on several main policy points which he believes will make America great again. 3 of these main policy points are as follows. Build a border wall on the southern border and make Mexico pay for the wall. Round up and deport all illegal aliens from the nation using local, state, and federal law enforcement. Repeal and replace Obamacare. As we saw during President Obama's administration, many promises made on the campaign trail are not made good on. I don't think Trump's presidency will be much different in this respect. One of the most important things to remember when we hear politicians speak on their campaign trails is that these individuals will almost certainly do or say anything to get your vote. Once in office, though, a politician like the president must represent everyone, not just their party's typical constituency. Furthermore, as Stephen Chu writes in the Southern Economic Journal, re-election motivates lead incumbent politicians to select policies that, although popular among the electorate, are inferior to available, less popular alternatives. In the end, politicians are all very rational people who, above all else, want to keep their jobs. Republicans just gained back control of all three branches of the federal government, and naturally they're going to want to keep this newfound control. If Trump goes ahead and implements these new policies that deport millions of Americans and takes their health care away, he's unlikely to be re-elected, and his party could once again lose control of the federal government. The 2016 presidential election was one of the most polarizing elections in our nation's history. Donald Trump, who failed to win the popular vote, is set to become the 45th President of the United States. For many in this nation, the prospect of a Trump presidency still brings feelings of fear and uneasiness, and this is something that needs to be addressed. Donald Trump is going to be the next president, and the sooner that people accept this and move on, the sooner the nation can start to focus on tackling the issues that exist. I hope that by examining the powers of the president, the powers of local and state legislatures, as well as Trump's policy proposals, people can find it in them to give our next president-elect the chance he deserves. As President Obama put it, we're all on the same team, and we should all be rooting for Trump's success in leading this nation.